What is going on, everybody? This is SirWooper, and I'm bringing you another Pokémon Showdown battle. This time I'm playing in OU, as you can probably guess just by looking at the teams. But I thought I'd bring some OU because I haven't in a while, and I don't know whether you guys like it or not, but it's fun to play occasionally, just as long as you don't completely pour out over it all the time, because otherwise it gets boring. Anyway, looking at my team, Celebi, this is a team that I made with the Cam Spiritomb guy. Go check out his channel because he makes good teams and battles and does fun stuff, and he recently reached 50 subscribers and did a cool special with some game called Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. It was interesting to watch anyway. But yeah, we have physically defensive Celebi with Stealth Rocks, Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire. Hidden Power Fire is just really for Ferrothorn, and he has a Ferrothorn, so that's ideal. Heatran is the kind of standard special defensive set with like Protect, Toxic, Lava Plume and Roar, I think, because I like having phasing moves on, at least one on every team, if I can anyway. Keldeo is the Subcar mindset because that thing is deadly as hell, especially if people bring rain teams. That thing just screws rain teams. Gengar is a sub-disable set, again, because it's fairly common, I suppose, but then you see a lot of Scarf Gengars and stuff these days. It's good, anyway, it works. If you can predict well, then it kind of messes up an opponent's team, or it can do. Salamence is the Choice Scarf Moxie set, because while Dragon Dance Outrage is good, I like this one a lot as well. And then Mamoswine is a Life Orb, just like Edgequake, and then the two obvious Stab Ice moves in Shard and Icicle Crash. Looking at his team, he's got the Land Asterian form, which could be physically defensive, could be like a Rock Polish set, could be a Swords Dance set, it could also be Scarfed. As a team, it's kind of hard to figure out what everything does. I mean, Tentacruel and Ferrothorn are fairly obvious. They'll be like Spike, Stealth Rocks, Toxic Spikes, Rapid Spin, respectively, etc. And the Scissor is probably banded, because he doesn't look like he has anything else that would want to be banded. Now, the fact that he's got a Heatran in there suggests that it might not be a specially defensive variant. It could be an offensive one, possibly with like a Balloon or something like that. Either way, I'll deal with that when it comes to it. The Latios could be Scarfed. If it is, then his Therian form probably isn't. If not, then it could be Life Orb or Specs or something crazy like that. But I guess we'll find out as the battle goes on. He's got an interesting team, we'll leave it at that. At least it's not a weather team, basically. But anyway, he leads out with this Ferrothorn, I lead out with Celebi, obviously wanting to get my rocks up as soon as possible. My Sarah Bree. And I go for the Hidden Power Fire straight off the bat, get a crit, which kind of it did matter because it wouldn't have OHKO'd otherwise, and he probably would have got his rocks up. But either way, that's nice. It's nice to have that damage. Now he brings in his Heatran on the Balloon, obviously expecting me to, I don't know, not have a. Oh, he's got a Balloon anyway, but he knows he can warn me pretty much. So he goes for Lava Plume here, and I decide to sub, seeing if he was. No, he goes for Hidden Power, and I know it does too much damage. So he's probably a max special attack, max speed variant. So I go for the sub, then I was going to disable his Lava Plume, but then the fact that he went for Lava Plume meant that he had, and I knew Hidden Power would do it as well. So I go for Focus Blast, he roars me. I try switching as he roars me into Heatran, but then he just Lava Plumes, predicting the switch, which was very well played on his part, because he didn't know if I had the Earth Power or not. But then he had a Balloon, so it didn't really matter. Either way, I go for the Secret Sword, predicting him to switch into probably Tentacruel, and I know it hits physically, so it will do a decent amount of damage. And it does an alright amount, 38%, considering I'm completely unboosted and it's resisted. He just goes for one layer of T-Spikes, brings in his Lander Asterian form. I go for the Dragon Claw, just expecting him to switch into something and not wanting to lock myself into Outrage, especially not at this point in the game. Then I bring in my Celebi, and I should have seen the U-turn coming. That was so obvious it hurt. But he's probably Choice Scarfed by, I mean, the damage, I reckon it would have taken me out if he was banded, not gonna lie. That's a lot of power, because it's got, what, base 145 attack? Anyway, Celebi goes down without really managing to do anything apart from get rid of Ferrothorn. And he's got one layer of Toxic Spikes up on me, and I have no hazards on him, which is not good. Anyway, I go back into Keldeo, I predict him to switch to Tentacruel again, just go for the Secret Sword. I probably could have switched into something else, but I don't really have anything that wants to, like, handle this Tentacruel one-on-one. So, I go into Albi the Salamence, expecting the Scald, really hoping he doesn't burn me. And he doesn't, which is ideal. So this time I go for the Earthquake, expecting him to predict me to go for the Dragon Claw like I did last time. Brings in a Sizzle, that does a decent 47%, but then he predicts me to switch, and goes for the Superpower, obviously thinking I'd fear the Bullet Punch and go into Heatran. But I just decided to stay in and Earthquake things, because I had something that could handle just about everything else in this team, and this seemed like a good plan at the time. So he switches into his Latios on the Earthquake, and that's kind of obvious that he's going to go for, like, I thought he was going to go for a Dragon move, not going to lie, so I went into Heatran, who resists Dragon moves, and also conveniently Psychic moves. Basically, I resist his Dual Stab. And I go for the Protect. We see his Life Orb, which is kind of good, kind of bad. Not good, because he can switch his attacks up, but also good, because I can outspeed him with some things. Can I? Yeah, my choice of Salamence. Anyway, I know I can take a Surf, I'm especially defensive, it's unstabbed, so I protect the first turn to see if he has it initially, then Toxic him. And residual damage in addition to the Life Orb is going to be nice. It will help taking that thing down. So I go for the Protect again to get some more lefties as he brings in his Tentacruel, and he probably knows by this point that I have nothing I can hurt him with Heatran. So I go into L'Oreal, my Keldeo, and he goes for Ice Beam, which is interesting. I don't normally see Tentacruels run Ice Beam, I don't think. I definitely know mine doesn't. It might run like Toxic, Rapid Spin, Protect. I think I run Protect over Ice Beam. But he obviously doesn't run it. I just decided to set up a Calm Mind because I know he's going to be fully special. And I might as well just try and get a bit of a boost so I can actually do some decent damage with my Secret Swords. And it does 56% this time, which is good because it means I can take him out next turn, regardless of what happens with Poison. The fact that it's only one layer of Poison as well is very, very important because it means that it's not going to rack up so fast. And I can take him out this turn with another Secret Sword. Now he could go into any number of things. He could go into Latios, he could go into his Therian form. Both of them outspeed me, and he decides to bring his Latios knowing he resists my Dual Stab. But he outspeeds me anyway because Latios is fast as fuck and takes me out with a Psyshock. It's a bit of a pain, but I'm not too fussed about it. Now I bring in Albi the Salamence, and here I just go straight for the Dragon Claw because I don't want to overpredict. If I hadn't killed that Latios there, it could have just wrecked the rest of my team. I do have Ice Shard on Mamoswine, but Mamoswine comes in far, far too useful later on. So that's Latios out of the way. Brings in his Therian form, and I predict him. I don't know if I predict him. I know basically that Buttons can take anything and hit him back with an Ice Shard, which he will be terrified of, or at least he should be terrified of. So I go for the Ice Shard and I break that Heatran's balloon, which is absolutely perfect, just because now I can hit it with Earthquake, and that is what I've been trying to break that thing's balloon, like expecting it to switch in all game near enough in my head. I know I needed to get rid of it. So here he brings in his Landorus Therian form. Kind of obvious play. I mean, I should have predicted it. I just go for the Earthquake anyway because easy kill, I thought. But then I predict him to go back into his Heatran, wanting to storm me out with Poison and Life Orb, and I just go for the Earthquake, get rid of that thing, and that is absolutely beautiful. Because now Buttons dies, but all he's got left is his Therian form, and I can just bring in Heatran and wall the living crap out of him, because he has to lock himself into Stone Edge. He has to, because he can't lock himself into anything else, because he won't be able to kill my Salamence. So he goes for the Stone Edge, I protect. I reckon that I can take another one as he's not banded and it's unstabbed and I'm neutral to it. And I can, nicely, and I go for the Lava Plume and I get a crit, which is nice. It doesn't really matter too much, because I probably could have protected. I reckon I could have won it anyway, because I think my Salamence outspeeds because it's pretty slow, his Landorus Therian form. Anyway, that was a good match. Good fun against HeartXXX. HeartX. Let's go with that. But remember to leave a like if you enjoyed it, comment, sub, all that kind of stuff. Because I like reading comments. No one leaves me comments these days, and I like them. They're fun. They let me interact with people. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.